Hey, Bob and Mandy here, and welcome to List Play. This week, on this episode, we are going to be doing a Their List episode, which means that we're not making the list, but we're taking a list from the internet. We're going to read through it, analyze it, talk about if we like it or not, and at the end, come to a conclusion about whether it's good, bad, or really bad, or awful. There's probably also some other good rankings, but, you get the idea. And you guys can tell us in the comments how accurate we were. You can tell us if you agree or disagree, if we totally missed the point, whatever.
Yep, and today the topic is awkward first dates. So first we want to tell you, to give you a little bit of context, where we're coming from, what sort of our histories are a little bit. Tell you just a little bit about us.
I'll tell you about both of my dates. So I got that to look forward to.
Oh, you only had 2 dates?
I had first dates, maybe 3. I don't know, not very many. You go first because you have more stories.
Well, okay, so I've sort of had a lot, but don't make that sound weird because, I always had this.
You were a likable girl.
Well, I always just had this theory that if someone asked me to go on a date, I would always go at least once with them. Because you never know what it's gonna be like until you're there and you're talking to them one-on-one. People are way different.
Is that why you agreed to go out with me the first time?
Yeah.
No. I see how it is.
No, so the rule is they always get one from me. Like, I mean, I don't do anything on first dates, so it's fine. You just hang out and talk, and it's fine. So I've had a lot of boyfriends in my day, but most of them were not long-lived. Most of them lasted about 2 months, relationships. Well, and I don't know about you guys, but back in our day, I sound so old, but we used to... we would be dating, we would call it, we were going out, we were boyfriend and girlfriend before we would ever go on a date, generally.
You guys were all about the labels.
Well, sort of. I mean, when you're I don't know, we weren't very old, and so it's not like it was serious relationships or anything, but I don't know, I fell in love with a lot of guys and had love a lot of times when I was young, because that's how teenage girls are. And it was really fun. But yes, also because of my beautiful theory on life, there were a lot of awkward times. And we'll talk about some of those later.
My dating life was pretty non-existent, basically. I don't know, for a long time when I was younger, middle school, high school, when everyone else started dating, I was just not that interested in dating. I had a group of friends and we spent a lot of time hanging out, doing LAN parties or playing Magic the Gathering or doing other similarly nerdy things. And then in high school, at some point, I did become interested in dating, but I just never went on that many dates. I think it's because I was afraid. I was too...
No, you were pretty picky, I feel like. Just knowing you now and knowing... I don't know.
I didn't... Not in a bad way, but I think I didn't see the point in going out with someone, I guess, who I didn't think would work for me. And I have high standards. I don't know. It's not like I wrote a lot of people off. I just didn't ever even want to ask a lot of people out.
Well, but
I went on a couple dates.
So to be fair, it's a weird dynamic because I know with a lot of boys, all of you who are guys too, Bob has explained this to me many times, that even when girls are being very obvious about the fact that we like you, boys have no idea. So that could be the other reason. So you just always assume oh, she's just trying to be nice to me, even when she's being awkwardly overly nice.
Guys are always nice to each other, so it's not that
No.
It's not that weird for someone to be nice to a guy. Girls can be really bitchy back and forth to each other, even when they're friends.
Yeah.
But guys are always pretty nice to each other. So girls think they're being so obvious when a lot of times guys are just like, man, she's so nice. Awesome.
Well, so it's really frustrating from the other side of that when you're dropping big hints and then nothing happens and you're just like, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Well,
okay, so
that brings us, thankfully, out of our experiences.
well, we'll talk a little more about our first date.
We got some more stories.
Yeah,
queued up.
well, and a lot of it has to do with our first date, which is funny.
Yeah.
Which was in September of 2010, if that gives you any context.
But as far as the list, we got this list off the internet by Christina Leem. I don't know how to say that name. It's posted on hercampus.com, which, based on the way the list is structured, I think is a site targeted toward women, as we'll talk about as we go through the list. But it's 10 most awkward things that could happen on a first date. Thing number 1 being your friends totally screwing up and or humiliating you in front of your date or acting ridiculous. And I have a story. It's not a date, but it is the pursuit of a date. I have my best friend, one of my best friends from way back, Alex Glenn. We were friends in high school, and he liked this girl for a long time, and I had a crush on another girl. And we would spend time in his basement, and we would play ping pong and talk about how it was so hard to get a date and all this stuff, and just sort of generally go on and on about how we were afraid to ask girls out. But there was one time when we were at the movies, and we came out of the theater, and we noticed that the 2 girls that we were both interested in were going into the theater, and we were like, "Was that them? I think that was them." And we went out to the parking lot.
Were they best friends?
They were pretty good friends.
That's funny.
And so their car, one of their cars that they presumably both had come to the movies in, was parked out there. And we were like, man, they're both in there. And we want to talk to them about going on a date with us right now. But they're at the movie. And so we were talking, and it was like, you know, it seemed very serendipitous. And then the guys that we were with at the movies were like, you know what you should do? You should go quick right now. Go to the grocery store or something, get some like flowers or some chocolate or something. Come back when the movie's probably about over and just hang out. And when they come out to the car, give them the flowers and ambush them and be like, hey, I knew you were here and want to go on a date. And at the time it was like, whoa, it's meant to be. Like we didn't think all the way through how strange it is to stalk someone at the movies and ambush them at their car when they come out from the movie. So we just did that. We went over to the grocery store, we got some flowers, and then we like hung around a little because the movie was like an hour and a half long, probably. Got back, they came out of the parking lot, and we were standing there next to their car, sort of hidden, like so that they didn't see us from across the parking lot and have that awkward, slow approach with us holding flowers. And so when they got close to the car, we sort of popped out. And the thing that we forgot, and that I actually didn't know, is that the girl that Alex was really into had a heart condition for which she took like medicine. Like her heart had some sort of issue that was, you know, she's not supposed to do things that make her heart beat really fast, or she might die or have a heart attack or something. It's not good. And she freaked out because obviously two people in a parking lot jump out from behind her car, and she like freaked out, and she was like, oh, and like bent over, and we were like, no, it's us. Holy crap. And we, like everyone, including the other girl who was there, just about died of terror when we realized that we were going to kill this girl by scaring the crap out of her. And so she calmed down after a minute. She was okay. Her heart started racing, and it was kind of a stressful moment. And then everything settled down, and Alex was just like, so we got you these flowers, and if you wanted to go on a date with me, and she was like, no. After that, I can't even talk to you right now. And so he goes first, and I'm standing there, and I was going to ask out this other girl. And at that point, I was just like, flowers, never mind. And I kind of asked her out, but I didn't even say it. I didn't give her an opportunity to answer because everyone was so freaked out. It was unbelievable.
So basically, you almost killed a girl for no reason.
Well, Alex really wanted to go out with that one girl.
Oh, so that's a reason.
I didn't know that she had a heart condition. I'm just saying.
Did Alex know?
I don't know. He knew her pretty well. I think he did. By his reaction, I guess he probably didn't. Or at least he didn't think of that when we were doing this whole plan. But that's what you get for listening to your idiot friends when they try to convince you that stalking a person is a really romantic way to ask them out. Turns out it's not.
Yeah, well, so we agree with that point. Friends
can ruin
convince
everything.
you to do weird things, or follow you around while you're doing dates. That's, I think, what they're getting at in the post.
Not stalking, friends forcing you to stalk people? Because I feel like my story is pretty common.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Everyone's done that, right?
Convincing people to do...
Accidentally stalked your crush?
I don't think so.
Okay, maybe not. Not my best moment.
Okay. So that's number 10 on their list, or number 1.
That's number 1.
They have it ordered backwards.
They don't know how to
from the
make a
way
list.
We do it here.
Docking points already from the final score.
Okay, so number 2 on their list of most awkward things to happen on a date is your phone, which, so what they're getting at in their post is that you could be showing someone something on your phone, and then something pops up on it that's embarrassing that you didn't want them to see, like, I don't know.
Like your mom texts you, so are you going to marry this one?
or your calendar says period in 2 days or something. Any of that would be pretty bad.
That would also be pretty awkward.
Yeah. I put it in my phone. Okay, sorry. But I don't know how to recover from that. But I actually did have a funny thing happen with my phone. So it wasn't necessarily on the first date. Again, it was in the pursuit of a date. So I had been chatting with this guy for, I don't know, 2 weeks, texting all the time. He was a swimmer and I was a swimmer, and he was ripped, so it was awesome. But not to make Bob feel uncomfortable here. No, so I was really excited that he was going to ask me out because we had been texting a lot and being whatever you could tell. Girls can always tell. Even when it's unwanted, girls can always tell. But... okay, that's a generalization. It's not true. But my sister can't tell worth a damn. I could always tell, like, when guys are checking you out or whatever, but my sister never could. It's, I guess, a skill. I don't know. So the point was, we had been texting back and forth, and finally, it was like over the holidays, I think. Finally, he asked me out, and I was, like, excited, so I went to text my best friend, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited that he finally asked me out. And... I sent it to him. I tried to play it off like, yeah, it was just a joke. I was sending it to him. I don't think he believed me, but it...
no, he probably totally
how do you recover from that? Is there a way that you could text someone that you're probably just going to start dating and be like... yay! He asked me out! And that be okay? I
mean, as a guy at that point, I'm probably thinking, and I'm a strange person, so this might not be ubiquitous, but I would probably be thinking, first of all, like,
yeah,
yes. She was, like, desperate for me to ask her out. This is gonna go awesome. But also, in the back of my mind, would kind of be like, watch for signs of crazy.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that she's not, like, overly attached. Like, it wouldn't turn me off completely or anything, but there will be a little moment of like, let's see if she does this again. Yeah. This becomes every time we go on a date, she's like, yay, you went out with me again. It's like, that might be a warning sign. But maybe people like that and they want a really attached girlfriend who's excited.
Probably not.
But I would not like that.
Yeah, so I guess it was okay because I was like 15 or something, but yeah, there's a lot of ways that your phone can embarrass you nowadays, especially with all the stuff you can put on it.
Yeah, there's pictures and videos, and there's
naked pictures.
So much stuff. Who puts naked pictures on their phone?
I don't know. Where would you keep them?
Hasn't anyone figured out yet that that's a horrible plan and never works out very well?
Okay,
it never works out very well.
That's another good point, I think.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. And the next one, I'm a guy, so the next one doesn't really apply to me directly, but I think this person who made this list might be a little overly sensitive. Number 3 on this list is your shoes could embarrass you. And this is speaking from the girl's perspective, I think. You know, if you're on a date and you're trying to look nice and maybe you wore high heels and then you're walking into the restaurant or wherever and you have like a slip and fall or even just a moment where you like kind of fall and the guy has to catch you. The list this person made says that could be really awkward because we can't really figure out why. I don't know if maybe we're just so nonchalant about this and other people are really judgy, like, oh, you fell down? I can't go out with a fall downer.
I feel like if I fell down, he'd just be like, oh no, and pick you up.
Yeah,
like,
well, and it's one of those things that happens on a date where it's like an opportunity, especially on a first date, for like casual contact. Because it's always really awkward if you go to like a movie on the first date and you're like, I don't know if I can just try it. Yeah, but you know, if you have a moment where like you catch her and she stumbles or whatever, it's that first little bit of like holding hands, and then you get a little hug or whatever. It's
that's adorable, Bob.
I think it's not that bad.
That's an adorable spin on it.
It's an opportunity from the guy's perspective, because no guy is gonna be like, "Oh, she fell down. Date's over. I can't
you
be
can go home now because you're not a model walking.
I can't be
heels
walking
all
around
the
with
time.
people who don't know how to walk in heels without tripping. Like, I couldn't walk around in high heels, so I don't know.
Okay, so it wasn't specifically on a date, but I had these one pair of shoes. We called them the death boots because for some reason I would always fall when I had them on. They were like really slippy on the bottom.
They had like shiny plastic slippery bottoms.
Okay,
they were
stupid. Cheap shoes. Okay, but
they looked good.
They were cute. So I kept wearing them, but I kept falling repeatedly. Like one time I fell so bad, like right on my tailbone, we had to get an x-ray to see if I had broken my butt.
We thought that you might have broken her butt on that instance.
Bob had to rush home to take me. But to take care of me.
To make sure you weren't dying.
I was like lying on the road
dying
for a while.
Of broken
it was
butt.
bad. But so I feel like I would hope that someone, like, even my friends have helped me up. No one's like, I don't know.
I don't think people are that judgmental. Unless you're like walking on a open, clear hallway and someone just like face plants for no reason. Everyone might kind of be like,
everyone might laugh, but I don't think it would.
Are you drunk? Are you okay, man? But I don't think people are going to be that judgy about it. I don't know. So I think this person missed on the list a little bit there.
So that point we're not so understanding about. So this is another point they make. Number 4 is the unsolicited relationship talk. So what they're talking about here is where where you are out with someone and they're all, oh, so are you two married? Or, you know, are you two boyfriend and girlfriend? When are you guys getting married? Or, I don't know, people ask about weird stuff. Like, I have this friend, and she's been dating her boyfriend for a very long time, but their parents are both asking them about babies. And they're not married. So, stuff like that.
Yeah, well, and it seems like with this one, in my experience anyway, always comes up with family. Because I actually have a story, it's not exactly this, but it's about us. At my brother's graduation party from high school, he's like 6 years younger than me, so he just graduated right close to when we had started dating. But it was like a big deal because it had been a long time since anyone had graduated, because I was a little slow with the whole college thing. And so Mandy and I went to my brother's graduation party, and like aunts and uncles were there, and my family and grandparents. And this was the first time. Mandy is probably my only really serious girlfriend. The other girl that I dated for a long time, They dated
for a year and some. That's a serious girlfriend.
But it was never as serious of a relationship. Like we had a lot of fun, but we never like talked about kids or getting married or anything. We just like hanged out. We hung out all the time. So this is the first time with Mandy at this party where I had to meet my family and tell them, like, this is my girlfriend. Introduce, because, you know, she's going to be around for a while. At that point, I had hoped, anyway. It turned out pretty well. But I had never even said to, like, my parents, like, hey, this is my girlfriend. And so it was...
I met them like 3 days into his dating.
Yeah, whatever. But, you know, so that was a new thing for me. And we were clearly dating. It was not a first date, but it was still a moment where it was like, I had to introduce you to my family, and I would introduce you, and they'd be like, oh, great, are you guys going to get married? When are you going to move in together? Are you thinking about kids? It's like, whoa. I just said for the first time to you that she's my girlfriend. That was pretty exciting for me. Let's not go crazy.
I mean, but I don't feel like I was awkward about that, was I?
No, I think you were pretty good about it, but I felt awkward because I didn't expect my family to ambush me like that. I don't know if you were ambushed, but I felt like they immediately jumped from like, oh, they're dating. Can't wait to see her in 30 years. Bring the grandkids over, or what?
Well, I think parents always hope. I think why the reason it didn't faze me is because usually that's a good sign. If it's someone you know who solicits this, it's usually like, oh, they like you, so they're trying to get you to stick around or something. It's not like, I mean, but the strangers who do it, it's just sort of like, go away.
But it can be stressful. And I think on a first date, if that had been our first date, first of all, a weird choice of event for a first date. Come to my brother's graduation party with all of my extended family.
That would be weird.
But if that had been our first date, I think that would have been really uncomfortable. Because it'd be like, hey, this is Mandy. This is our date. She's kind of my girl. She's not my girlfriend. I don't know. Like, and then the people are like, oh, are you guys together? Are you gonna? That would be a lot. That would be a lot. So I think the list gets it pretty right there. I could see that being awkward.
Okay, so moving on. Number 5 on their list is your big mouth. So they have several of these. So this first one, they're referring to being very opinionated on the first date. So being like, I hate puppies. Cats are the only correct animal. If you say that on your first date, okay,
date over.
Probably over for me, actually. But that was actually not my point, because my point was I would want to know earlier if there's something like that. So it might be awkward on a first date, because you might be like, gonna have to lemon law you.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be better to know then than 3 months in? Or like How I Met Your Mother says, the O moment, when it's an imagining of Robin and Ted getting married, and he's like, I love you, and she's like, I used to be a dude. Because he's imagining what her secret could be, which is that she was a pop star, which is not so weird. But yeah, so I would rather know people's opinions, and I'd be like more weirded out if people don't agree with you.
I mean, yeah, I think this could go in a lot of directions. I think you're right, because you definitely want to know if someone is like has very different views from you on things that are important. You know, obviously, if you guys have different views on like getting married or, you know, politics or something. If you're
Don't talk about politics.
Well,
on
I'm just
first
saying,
date.
if you have views that are very, very strongly opposed, you want to know about that. But I feel like it could be really awkward and hard to deal with if you're on a first date and someone is like, you know, I don't get why homicide is such a big deal. What and like, because what do? If you get up and leave, they might get really angry, and then what's going to happen? But so I don't know. I doubt that's what this person was talking about. But
but is there anything that you've learned about me since we've been dating that you would have broken up with me at the beginning if I had said at the beginning?
I don't think so.
See, that's the point.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like the person, I don't think that. I don't know. Maybe there's something that can scare them off. I mean, like, you shouldn't be like...
if you've had this happen and you know what someone can say
that
would scare you off, maybe let us know in the comments.
Comments or on the Google form that's going on right now.
Yeah. Which Moobot will repeatedly tell you about.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know if that one is great on the list, but...
Well, but yeah, you can say awkward things, I guess, but I don't know if I would want to hide my views the way that they're saying.
Yeah. The next one, which is another Your Big Mouth, Your Big Mouth Part 2 is what it's called on the list, I am acutely aware of, and it's burping and also farting, which does not come out of your mouth. You're probably aware of at this point. If you're watching the show, you probably know farts come from somewhere else.
I hope you know that.
Probably at this point in your life, someone's told you. But yeah, so she says that burping or farting or other bodily functions
you can't even say it.
Can be kind of awkward, and I agree. As a guy who eats a lot of like junk food, I love like, you know, chicken wings and greasy food. That stuff can make you really gassy, and it's unfortunate. And it's, you know, obviously when we first started dating, I would never have like ripped a huge fart in front of Mandy and been like, that felt good. Like, no one, I think most guys, as much as they may enjoy burping and farting in their free time, know that that's not going to keep you going out with your girl if you do that in front of her. But even at this point, we've been together for a long time. We've been married for almost a whole year now.
Yeah.
We've been living together for a couple years. Mm-hmm. I still, if I feel it coming and I feel like I need to burp or need to fart or something, I gauge the situation, and you know, because it's like a classic sitcom joke. Is like married people fart in front of each other. They don't care. I'm not there yet. even though we're married, I'm not just gonna like just casually fart all the time. Maybe I'm self-conscious about it.
I do though. It's fine.
But I just feel like that's a really good way to really change someone's opinion of you.
But if you have to
really
do
quickly.
it, you have to do it. I don't understand. He's explained this to me. There's like a method for like holding it in. I'm like, what? What?
I don't know if it's a girls versus guys thing or if it's a me and it's a certain type of person thing. But tell me, guys who are watching this in the chat, in the comments, do you feel me on this? Do you have like a tactic for like, do you hold it in and wait till you go to the bathroom, or do you like wait till you're outside? Like guys don't fart on dates with girls.
But does
That's
it
not
turn
a way
you off?
to...
I mean, when we're just hanging out, and if I fart a little,
well, no, obviously at this point
it doesn't bother you now.
But I think,
I mean, I would never have done it like at the beginning.
But like if we were on a first date,
a first date, yeah,
yeah,
okay.
if we were on our first date and we were at the Bonefish Grill and we were sitting there and I was just like. Whoa! Man, you would not have gone out with me again. Even if it was really even if I was just like and like didn't acknowledge it, I just farted. And that's going to completely change the way that the date goes and change your opinion of me. I think it's obviously everyone farts and burps and everything, and it's not to be ashamed of, but I think when you choose to fart or not to fart can change the way a person...
To fart or not to fart.
Yeah, it can change...
That is the question.
It can change
whether
a person's
no blur
opinion.
in a mind. No.
It does. And I think, well, at some point, I'm just going to let it rip. And
well, you do when you're sleeping, so
attached,
it's okay.
You're attached to me forever now, so I can do whatever I want. I just have to get off my personal, prudishness with the farting. But yeah, I think on a first date that can get pretty awkward, and you got especially guys. I don't know if it's a physiological thing, but I think guys are fartier than girls are. Most guys have learned how to manage that and keep it away from the dating situations because it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, probably not when you're first dating.
Us.
Unless it's a super accident and like it's food poisoning, maybe.
Which guys also have learned to play off as a joke.
Still even hard to recover from. Like
it is. It's not good. On a first date, farting is a tough thing to get away with, and it should be avoided at all costs because it's just easier that way.
I'm glad you guys are enjoying this.
I told you,
chat.
when we were talking about the show beforehand, I was like, I got this one. I got lots of opinions about farting on dates. I have strong opinions about this. Back me up, comment section and chat.
Okay, moving on from the fart jokes, is number 7 on their list. So they call this Your Big Mouth Part 3. So what they mean for this one is they're referring to eating something really gross or really pungent on the menu and then trying to go in for a kiss or something. So they're talking about garlic probably mostly.
Yeah. Or like onions, like if you eat something like the bloomin' onions sort of things that are really, really oniony.
Onions are good.
They make your breath really oniony, though.
Do they?
They do. I mean, you're eating pure fried onion.
But see,
basically.
if you have a bloomin' onion, this is my theory. You are both eating it. Right? You don't eat a bloomin' onion by yourself. So...
You don't.
Is that what you do? On first dates?
That's my appetizer.
Is that why the other 2 didn't work out?
Yeah. We don't go to Outback anymore.
Yeah, I mean, if you're both eating it, and like on the first date, what's gonna happen? Like, unless you're planning super sexy time, I think it's fine. Like, it's not that hard. I mean, it's like you have to be like super offensive to like violate this. I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, if you order for dinner like that weird duck embryo egg thing where it's a little duck, I assume that makes your breath awful. If you don't know what I'm talking about, please don't search for that on the internet. It's disgusting.
People eat
Maybe
it.
if you eat something really crazy and gross, your breath could get kind of wonky. But garlic breath is not that bad. It doesn't smell good, but it's not that offensive.
I think it's fine when you're both doing it. Like if you're both doing it, do what you want.
Yeah. So this lister might be a little bit touchy about the breath situation.
Maybe she's just dated a lot of smelly guys.
Well, and she might have had a bad experience where she went to an Italian restaurant and she got like the 40 cloves of garlic chicken and the guy had like a salad and was like a not into garlic person and just got really offended. But in general, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Which brings us, I'm not looking forward to this one because this one involves a story about me. Which brings us to number 8 on this list. Your bladder can make a first date awkward. And what the lister has said is if you're on a date and one of you, either you or the person you're on a date with, goes to the bathroom like a lot, like 4 or 5 times during dinner or something, that's kind of awkward. Because the person who's not going to the bathroom is sitting there like wondering like, why, what's going on in there? Like, is this person okay? Do we need to go to the hospital?
Okay,
No,
and so Bob is upset because Bob is an offender of this very badly. He takes me out to restaurants and then he leaves me. No.
It's not like I
Okay,
leave for like the whole time. I just
he goes to
frequently
the
need
potty
to
a
go
lot
to
while
the
we're
bathroom at
outside.
restaurants.
He's like a little kid. I'm like, didn't you potty before we left the house? But so he always leaves me at a table by myself, and I get really mad when he does it too much. But it makes me really sad because you're just sitting there and the waiter like comes by and they're all, ooh, you need stuff? Like, ooh, you're alone now. And I'm all... And so I just sit there and try and play on my phone until he comes back.
It's not my fault. So you can't help it. I will say, I don't know if I've told this to my channel or all of you guys or whatever. I am diabetic and I take medicine for that.
You did.
And
you
that's-
did because you did the fundraiser.
Oh yeah. So my medication that I take to manage my blood sugar is partially what causes that for me. It's not just like I don't know how to go to the bathroom and I go all the time because I forget or something. But I do feel bad because it is kind of awkward when she's at the table. And then on a first date,
Yeah.
I can imagine it would be even
I would
more
have been
awkward.
really sad if he just kept leaving me. He didn't on the first date, though.
It's not
That
my,
was good.
It's not my fault. On the first date, I held it together.
Yeah.
I know how to go on a first date. You
Yeah.
just didn't know how I would be the rest
Damn
of
it.
the time.
Damn it.
That's a good. I'm
Okay,
glad we talked
so-
about that on the internet.
So moving on to number 9. So this one is interesting, super interesting to me, I thought. So they were talking about how awkward a hello could be. So, like, what they mean is that in different cultures or different people don't know how to greet each other. That it's different places. So, like, for example, here, Bob always goes, "Hey, bobbleheads," or "Hey, guys."
Yeah.
What did you say today?
In my video, or here.
Here.
Oh, I just said, "Hey, Bob and Manny here." That's how I.
Okay,
that's
so
how we started this show.
So hey, hello, and we're all, "What's up?"
Yeah.
And that makes sense. At least for America and the internet.
Yeah, I think the internet is helping to ubiquitize some of this stuff a little bit more, if that's a word. But yeah, it can be if you're going out with someone from a different culture or even from a different part. Like America is a huge country and there's different regions that do things very differently. It can be kind of awkward how you say hello to a person. But I think in the U.S. it's all very similar, and it's not like if I met a person from California, they'd be like, "Whoa, what's up, man?" I'd be like, "Oh no, I don't know how to talk to this guy."
I don't know how to respond to that.
I think I could figure that out, but there are countries in the world where greetings are very different than they are here, and I don't know.
Yeah,
It can be touchy
I did
to greet people.
some research on how some other cultures say hello. And maybe you guys are part of these cultures, or maybe you have your cool ways, your cool signs of hello. So we do the wave like this here in America. And so this list actually says that the way that Americans say hello, if this is what you think outside of America, it's kind of weird, that we all fist bump. Hey, what's up?
That's how we greet each other all
That's
the
how
time.
we greet each other. Bob and I. Well, so that's what this thinks about America. But so they say that in Tibet, a polite greeting is to stick out your tongue.
Hello, everyone in Tibet.
Hello.
If we have any people watching from Tibet.
So that's one way they say it. This is interesting. So in Malaysia, it says that instead of how we always ask what's up, they ask where are you going. So like instead of passing someone in the hallway and going what's up, Nothing. What's up with you? Or how you doing? Good. How are you? They say, where are you going? And you're like, just out for a walk. Just going.
I would always feel really accosted by that. I don't think it would be offensive or anything, but if I ever go to Malaysia and everyone is like, where are you going? I'd be like, what? I'm going to the bathroom. Leave me alone. It's not my fault.
Well, you could just be like, just going. I don't know. So, what else? So, this was a funny one. So, in Micronesia, it says that raising eyebrows is the way to say hello.
Is there like a certain...
Am I doing it right?
Well,
it's a picture
in the picture,
like
the
this.
dude looks really...
Like, that looks skeptical to me.
Maybe everyone in Micronesia is just really skeptical about what everyone else is doing.
Maybe. What's some other things on this list? So, it says in... Can you say this one?
I can't read it. Bedouin?
Okay, so it says that men greet each other by rubbing noses.
Which is interesting. And Bedouin is, we looked it up, it's a small island nation sort of thing?
It's off of, well, so this is a broad definition, but if you're looking at a world map, it's like halfway between Australia and India in the kind of oceany area.
Yep.
So people greet each other by that. That might be really awkward on a first date if you're all, hey, what's up? and they don't return. Especially if they go for the fist bump. Or if
and
they go for
the
a
nose.
Well, and I know
Eskimo
in
kisses.
Europe it's the kisses on the side, and that's sort of a new metropolitan thing in America.
Cool Americans do the cheek
they
kisses.
try and copy
Because
Europe
they're cool.
if they do that. So all of that could be awkward, especially if you two aren't on the same page. So if you're both going for a handshake, that's fine. Well, and I don't know if I'd handshake my date anyway. Now that I think about it.
Let us begin this date. Excellent.
Do you judge them by your handshake? I judge people by their handshakes.
She has a very feminine handshake.
We always used to have to
shake.
shake. I do?
No, I was just...
Oh.
That wasn't a real handshake.
No. But we always used to have to shake people's hands when I played tennis before we played. And it was always really awkward because girls are really bad at shaking hands. I don't know why, but they're like afraid to be like, guys got the business handshake down, but girls are like, eh. Like in tennis at least. I don't know if it's because they were just mad that they were about to play you or what, but they were not participative.
It's just my unfriendly handshake.
Yeah, kinda. Maybe it was unintentional. It was like I was supposed to be like, fuck off. But so yeah, greetings can be confusing. What you want to do?
Could be awkward.
That's their number 9 on their list, and we've made it to their last one on their list. Bob, you want to reveal that?
Sure. And I'm not going to hedge. I'll just say it. Number 10 on the list is listed as your liver, by which this person means if you are on a date with another person and you get really drunk while on the date and you get a little bit sloppy or you ignore them or whatever, people act differently when they get drunk. That could make a first date kind of awkward. And I don't know if this person is like a really, is like a lightweight and gets drunk easily, and that's an issue for them. But I thought this was an interesting thing because unless someone gets like trashed, like falling over on the floor, I don't know, it's not that bad.
Well, I mean, to me, so I'm the girl at least. So usually, like, it's like a social understanding. Like, if the guy asks you out, that the guy is generally going to pay. Or at least you should be under those assumptions when you're ordering things so you don't buy the lobster and whatever. So, like, if you order a lot of drinks are expensive. So to me, that's really awkward for even another reason. And you don't want to get sloppy. Like, you can have a couple drinks, but still I would feel bad. I would feel bad making a guy pay for that extra for no reason.
Yeah, I don't know. And that wasn't the thing that crossed my mind until she brought it up. Is that, yeah, if I asked a girl out, I would likely pay and expect to pay, and we could do the whole dance of who's going to pay. But that I might not enjoy that. But I think the way this would be awkward for me is if the person I'm out on a date with were to get so drunk that they started ignoring me or it was no longer a date, because it's, you know, I'm not normally a very business-like person. I'm all down for screwing around. But when you're on a date, the whole point is to get to know this person. Usually if you're on a date with a person, you're kind of strangers, or at least you're not very good friends. You might know each other, but very, very little. So the point is to have a conversation, to learn what the other person is like, to learn, you know, where they're from, all this sort of stuff. And if a person is getting drunk and is just like, let's do shots! Like, I'm not getting to know this person at all unless I join in the drinking. This is not that fun of a date for me, and it's not, you know, it's not really a date. It's sort of like,
unless your date is like
going
at
drinking.
a bar, like with the intention of it being drinks as the date, you probably shouldn't have more than one or two.
But so I can see how that could be awkward in a couple different ways.
Yeah.
And that's the end of this list.
Yeah, so that's the list we found.
And that brings us to the whole payoff of the episode, the climax.
I know you've been waiting on the edge of your seats.
I'm sure that you just couldn't wait to hear this. We're going to go through the whole list. Well, we're not going to go back through it. We're going to think over it and evaluate it. In general, I like this list. I think there are a lot of major points on there where things definitely do happen that make it awkward in real life, and things that, if they did happen, could make dates pretty awkward.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not super hot. I think this list doesn't really do it for me because I'm also not the target audience. I don't know for sure, but I think it's aimed more at women. Obviously, with the shoes one, I think guys rarely have trouble with the shoes that they wear on a date because they're probably just their normal dress shoes or whatever. But I don't know. It was hit and miss.
Yeah, I think it was okay, but I feel like this person who was writing this list might have been a little superficial compared to what we think about. Like, I was worried when I went, like, on our first date, like, I battled with what to wear and stuff like that, and, like, but my, like, biggest fears were, like, that things were gonna be, like, super awkward, and we're gonna have nothing to say, and, like, socially awkward things. So maybe we're just not the right type of people for this list. It's a little more mainstream than us.
So the rating, we're going to do this on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best. The final rating. What do you give this list?
Maybe a 6 out of 10.
That's pretty close. I think I come down right around a 5 out of 10. I think about half this list was dead on, but about half of this was not dead on. Dead off. Whatever. Yeah. So, not bad, but could have done better there, lister. And you can tell us in the comments if you think we got the assessment right. Let us know if we totally missed it, if these things all totally happen all the time on first dates and we've just had really weird dating experiences. Could be the case. Who knows? I think I might have had not enough dating experiences to be an expert on this. But, you know.
Expert.
Whatever. Tell us in the comments. Let us know. And also, before we let you guys go, very exciting news. Merchandise featuring the List Play logo is now available in I forgot what it's called. In the Spreadshirt store. It's micekerm.spreadshirt.com. Right here. micekerm.spreadshirt.com. There are 2 versions of the logo. They're currently on t-shirts. They're also going to be phone cases, buttons, shot glasses, I don't know, everything else, coffee mugs. They will be coming. I have to create them, and I just haven't done that yet. But so for right now, there are t-shirts featuring the List Play logo. Yay. If you want to support the show, go check it out. I believe there is a link to the MiceGerm swag shop in the links below us right here. Mm-hmm. The shirts are there. It's not just for MiceGerm anymore. It's also for List Play. But yeah, that's going to be it, guys. Thanks so much for watching,
Thank you.
And we will list you later.